StoryCorps CT features interviews gathered by the StoryCorps Mobile Tour in Connecticut. In this conversation, meet 17-year-old Rae George and her mother, Weruché George, who emigrated from Nigeria.
Is there anybody in your life that had a strong influence on you growing up?
Yes, my dad. My dad was a businessman, but he was a very hands-on dad as well. So he was like this multitasker. He was very in tune with us as his children. He had 5 of us. And it was so interesting the way he would speak to us about life. And he would give us all this sage advice about our future. And we didn't realize that after he passed, those would be the words that would inspire us and keep us. Even a lot of our friends now remind us of moments where they would, come to the house to visit, and he would play the role of dad for them as well. So just seeing that, I'd like to think that it informed me and informed my parenting style.
You could say anything to him right now.
I'll tell him I love him. I love him. And I'll tell you this, in Nigeria, we had this culture where parents were not affectionate, not that they weren't nice or kind, but they wouldn't use words like, I love you. They will pat you on the back. They will shake your hands. They will give you hugs. They will give you all this wonderful advice, but they would never use the words, I love you. And so that was one of my biggest regrets when he died, was that I never got a chance to say to him, Dad, I love you, or hear him say, I love you. But I felt it. When I speak to some of my friends, they have a similar experience where their parents never told them they love them. It's not our language.
What advice would you give to first generation immigrants or new assimilees on preserving their cultures for their future generations?
I like that question, Rae. That's a great question. And my advice would be to first generation immigrants like me would be, do not let the culture die. Just continue to cook the food and continue to wear the clothing and teach the actual culture, the traditions. I just hope that whatever little you can learn from us, from me, when I cook egusi or I cook okra, or I speak with, maybe I say some Igbo word, absorb it as much as you can. What's your favorite food to eat as Nigerian?
I like okra soup. I'd say me and my brother would both agree on that we like okra.
Okra, yeah, that's awesome. Tell me a memory you had of from the Uguta convention that we would have here in Connecticut, where a bunch of, Nigerians, a group of us would come together to celebrate.
It was definitely a big part of my childhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to these conventions and just having a bunch of people my age and adults indulging in the culture and singing and dancing and eating the food. And I feel like that was the highest extent of me actually practicing my culture. And I learned a lot about, who I am and the type of people that surround me.
Your culture is your identity, is who you are. And if you can just continue to remember, where you're from, I would love that.
I'm grateful for everything that every opportunity I've had in this country. I just hope that anybody else that is within my own culture and among others know that there's always opportunity everywhere, and to stay hopeful and stay grateful.
Stay grateful. That's awesome.
Rae George and Weruché George in Hamden, Connecticut, produced locally by Connecticut Public Radio. See and hear more stories at ctpublic.org/StoryCorps-CT.
The StoryCorps Mobile Tour is made possible by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people.